Welcome back to the Real Business Roundtable.
Welcome. Today, we're talking about the types of businesses out there, kind of like the high-level categories. So if you're out there, you're thinking about going into business for yourself, we want to give you like the top 5 types of businesses to give people a little bit of guidance, because sometimes people can get confused.
So when I look at the like the blanket over all businesses, we're not talking about like the types of categories. We're talking about
It's high level.
From our point of view, there's 5 different types of businesses. And within those types of businesses include product, service, information, facilitation, and time. And so I want to kind of go over what these mean before we kind of dive into them, because it can be a little bit confusing. Some of them are pretty simple to understand, but so product and service, what would you...
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the positives and negatives and kind of an outline of what they are.
So product and service.
First one's product.
Yeah, so what... Okay, yeah.
So for a product, let's say you're going to create a product that is going to solve a problem in an industry.
Or create convenience.
Yeah. Create convenience, make something easy. You have that product designed, you have that product then manufactured, and then you have to sell that product. The positives are now you own that product, you can patent that product to prevent anybody from using it for 7 years. The downside to patenting is now you've given away all your secret sauce, but that also prevents people from knocking you off. So when you make a product, people can copy you. That's probably going to happen. Products, the positives are you have a product, you can go to market very fast, you can make a ton of money as long as you do the right promotion and you go to market fast. The downside is also people copying. Maybe the product doesn't take off.
Yeah.
You have to worry about inventory.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that you find a manufacturer that will do small batches for you to test the market. You don't want a warehouse full of stuff that you can't sell. Let's say somebody has another product. That's why it's very important to do your research. Dig, and try to find out if somebody has something similar. And if someone does have something similar and you design a better product or a better widget, try to make sure that your product is a step above or a step up from what is currently out there. Yeah,
so product is a great business. But the thing is that I find with it is that it's a logistic nightmare. There's a lot of testing, there's manufacturing, distributing, sourcing, advertising, testing. It's literally just testing everything and finding that strategic plan that works, that strategic formula for that business, for that product, finding that thing that works and then blowing up that one strategy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Product is great. If you have a good product, and that takes a lot of testing.
Yeah, so if you have an idea, do your research, do your homework, try to find out how you can out-serve or out-provide and out-benefit that other product. So try to always do it a step above. Don't make a copycat product. Then it becomes a commodity. Now you're just another widget that does the same exact thing, and it basically is the same thing, and it will hinder you. So whenever you're trying to come up with a business idea, try to be as unique as possible. And if it's a product, make sure it's better. Try to make it cheaper. If you're going to sell it to the mass market, again, you need a advertising budget to push that product. You don't want to make the product and not be able to sell it. So if you get funding or if you have a little bit of seed capital to get that manufactured, save some cash to actually move the product. Very, very, very important.
Yeah, and so that kind of moves us on to service, but I want to mention something. So I just realized we're missing one. So there's 6 different types of businesses. And
there's a bunch, but I wanted to talk about 5, but go ahead.
Entertainment. Entertainment is a massive one.
Okay.
So that really wouldn't go into information or facilitation or time or service or even product. That goes into its own category, and that is a massive category. Entertainment is very interesting, and I want to kind of go into that after, but to move into service. So service, I personally think it's all about either growth or it's about convenience. So service, I think of right off the top of my head, DoorDash, Uber, those main companies that add that convenience. Service could also be, advertising, an advertising service, or
Web development.
It could be literally anything, but it could be, you know, an SaaS, a software for service. There's so many different things that you could do with service.
So with services, like any business, if you're going to provide a service, there's going to be positives and negatives. The positives, when it comes to providing a service, is that you can have leveraged income where you have a staff or a team or someone who has a certain skill. You don't have to have the skill. If you hire somebody, bring someone on board that knows how to do content writing or someone that knows how to do app development, now you have an instant business. Let's say you, in your network, you know someone who's an awesome app developer, but they don't understand sales, they don't understand marketing, they're not just, you know, everyone has their skill that they're really good at. Let's say you're really good at sales. You team up with an app developer. Now you have an app development company, just like that. It's you and another person. The downside to service is that when you provide a service, sometimes customers are always going to question, am I getting this service? So you always have to make sure you can facilitate proof that the services were rendered, especially if it's like app development and say it's a 6-month build out and you're 3 months in, the client's like, hey, where are we at? Make sure you can show them that the services are being provided. Make sure you have a detailed outline of what's been done to prove, because sometimes services are not a tangible. They need to see the byproduct of that service being done or the service actually happening, no matter what it is. Let's say you're getting your pool cleaned every year. Well, that's easy. You can see the guy out there, the woman out there, and they're cleaning your pool. Well, let's say app development, you're 3-4 months in, you don't have anything in your hand. It's not tangible. So if you provide a service, make sure you can prove. And I want to say that's the negative side of having a service business, is always having to prove to the client that work is being done.
Yeah, you kind of covered it. Yeah, that was, I mean, that was good. I mean, I couldn't really say that any better. That's service.
I wanted to get into facilitation next.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Take it off.
On the product side, let's say you've never created a product before.
Or even service side.
Yeah, or service. Another type of business is facilitation. You hire a consultant or an expert that already has an established network, a proven supply chain, everything is streamlined. So if you hire this facilitator, they will make sure and ensure that it is likely to be successful, versus reaching out in the dark and just learning the hard way and maybe getting screwed over by a manufacturing company and they're not producing the product or the quality. So you're getting a lot of returns because they're not putting together the product correctly. The next type of business is facilitation. These are experts in each industry that have a proven track record. And like I mentioned, proven supply chain, and it will reduce your risk factor when it comes to starting a business. You can actually contact an expert.
Yeah, so I mean, these like a lot of these people are like considered like consultants, and they can be in literally any type of business for the product. Like you mentioned, it's someone who, you know, has a product already that doesn't compete with yours. Someone who is already in the business, has, you know, all the steps set up, all the parts of the process of expanding a product set up. You can partner with them and they'll facilitate everything for you, normally for, you know, a piece of equity.
So let's say you worked for a major, you know, department store, and you know everything about merchandising and setting up a store and retail and vendors to work with and how to deal with vendors. Even if you're just an employee there, you could start your own consultancy on the side and be a facilitator.
Yeah.
And let's say somebody somebody has a great eye for design for clothing, and they're like, I want to start my own boutique, but they know nothing about it. You can step in and go, hey, I've worked for XYZ department stores for the last 10 years. I can give you guidance on all this. And you can literally start a business with no inventory, just your knowledge on how to deal with all the aspects of launching a clothing brand. And you can be a facilitator. That's a whole business category in itself. The next type of business is information.
Yeah, information.
These are consultants, people with experience, people who have, you know, they've gone down the road in different industries, and they put together information, courses, books, whatever it might be. And what you're doing is you're trading information for X amount of dollars. So if you create a book or you create a guide or a course and you sell that course for $500, you can just keep reselling that course, and it's extremely scalable.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, everyone who's watching has probably heard of the quote, knowledge is power. So that's essentially building, this sector of businesses is kind of, what is it called? Using that to make money. That word, when you use something to make money, you use your information to make money. It starts with an EX.
When you exploit.
When you exploit, you're essentially exploiting, information and knowledge that you have, in order to help people, and you're making money in the process.
And now let's talk about the positives of selling information. The positives is that it's extremely scalable. You create that piece of information and you keep reselling it. There's no labor required, really. There's no effort, really. You just keep selling that same exact block of information.
See, the thing is with information, I don't mean to cut you off, it's great, but there's also a lot of downsides to it. A lot of people can copy and paste, especially like recently with all these different courses that are coming out. And
I was going to get into that next. So here's the downside, the negative of selling information. Your stuff can get knocked off and plagiarized just like that. I've been contacted by companies from wherever that have all these courses for $50. Some of these courses go for hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. And they're like, I'm going to send you all these courses on a thumb drive for $50. Didn't buy it, but I'm thinking, okay, all these courses were knocked off. Somebody purchased them, bundled them together, and are selling them really cheap. That's the downside to selling information, is once you put your information out there, it's free and available for people to copy. And are you really going to chase all those people? You can make money fast, but I would recommend anybody trying to sell information, a guide, a course, a book, you're selling information, sell it fast. Try to market it as much as you can, as much as possible, because the likelihood of it being plagiarized and copied is very high. So that's a risk. So with all these business, ideas, we want to talk about the positives and the negatives, so you at home can make the best decision on what type of business you want to get into. Because I actually bumped into a guy that was going to a university studying entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of feeling him out on. I said, "What are you into? What are you thinking about?" And he wasn't really sure, but that's very important to know the positives and negatives of each business type.
Yeah, and there's negatives for every business type. There's it's all about, like, how do I explain this? There's negatives and positives with everything, with every business type. Even with facilitation, which I didn't get into. So facilitation, let's say you're an expert, the whole entire supply chain and the whole process in some industry, and you're basically exposing your network to that person you're providing like the facilitation to. They can use your network. Then they can pass the names of your network to other people. Now you're sort of kind of losing opportunity. Not saying that will always happen, but it's a risk that comes with that business. Yeah, and so that kind of leads us into time.
So time is pretty much the standard first level of making money. Is, say you do web development at home, or you do cold calling or whatever, and you're charging by the hour. So you're like, I'm going to charge $50 an hour to do X, Y, Z.
But that's also by hours.
But it's by the hour. So rather than buying a product and paying a price for it, you're just paying by the hour.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Also, time. When I think of time, it's not necessarily a type of business, but time is going in and working a 9 to 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the downside to selling time is that there's a limited inventory. So you only have so many hours in the day that you can work. Mm-hmm. So that's good for people to think about, because there's tons of people out there. They go, yeah, I charge $50 an hour. Okay, well, you do have a cap on what you can make, mm-hmm. Which I always encourage anybody that's working hourly, have a side gig.
Yeah.
Have something on the side that you charge maybe by the project, not by the hour, where you can add to your income and have multiple streams of income. There's nothing wrong with working per hour to have that baseline, say a company's paying you per hour, but have a little side gig where you're having a different type of pay. Like the gentleman helping us film, I encourage him to, hey, you can do side gigs. I want to see him do better. I want to see, because it doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah. And that leads us to entertainment. And honestly, I don't want to just like move through these and then just end it. Were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
I don't want to move through these and just end it. I kind of want to build off of them a little bit more, maybe like a growth strategy, you know, between all these different business types, or, you know, what's your favorite type of business type, or, you know, stuff like that. But the last one that I thought of recently was entertainment. Entertainment's a huge industry recently. And that's, you know, because of, you know, social media platforms and, you know, these big characters and stuff like that. And entertainment has been, you know, huge forever. Think about Hollywood. I mean, that's not a service or anything. It's entertainment, and it's a massive industry. You know what I mean? Music industry is massive too, and that all, you know, ties into entertainment. And it's a really, really hard industry to make it in. I know a bunch of people who are in the entertainment industry, and it's very hard. It's really hard to market yourself. It's you know, we always preach be different, and that's literally the key to becoming big in the entertainment industry. But there's so many different things you could do. You know, there's people like streamers and YouTube guys and actors, and they're all, you know, the entertainment piece. But then there's also sides to it where it's bookers, or, you know, people like Dana White, people who own a platform but aren't, you know, part of the entertainment side. You get what I'm saying? I'm kind of rambling in my words a little bit, but it's a very, very, very interesting business when it talks about growth and, you know, success. It's very, very interesting.
And the positive side of entertainment is if you have a talent that people will like, they'll want to get more and more and more. Like, let's say you produce music. Music's like a drug. People constantly want it. They want something new. They want a new album. They want a new song, and they become hooked on your style. And if that happens, then that's great for the entertainer. But the negative is people could not steal your music, not pay you.
Well, no, I mean,
you could sign a music contract and get screwed.
The biggest downside to that industry is people don't watch or listen to your stuff.
There you go.
I mean, that's like, that's why it's a very interesting, because you kind of have to create this persona that may not be you. And that gets very toxic. The entertainment industry is very, very, very interesting. And, you know, that could be a whole other conversation.
Now, the next type of business that...
You got more.
Yeah. The next type of business, we might have to change the title of this video because there's more categories actually popped in my head.
Well, there's... Yeah.
Yeah. So the next type of business, if you are licensed to...
thought of that one too.
If you're licensed to do it, or you're doing it for yourself, is financial. So let's say you have a nest egg of capital, and you want to put that money to work. Your career can be investing. Your career could be day trading. Your career could be working with a team of day traders that are trading for you, where you take that capital and you put it to work. Now, with cash and money, it's very interesting. You just put it to work, and based on market conditions and things going up, things going down, you can see a profit. That in itself is a business.
Yeah.
But the positives are you can make a lot of money in a short amount of time quickly, okay? Or the negative is you can risk losing that cash if a stock drops, if the price of gold, something happens, or some big event happens with the economy or the world, and it can impact that investment. So that's something to consider if you want to get into a financial related business.
So I see what you have written down, but if you think about it, service, product,
well,
information.
I wanted to talk about the actual the need.
Okay.
So the next type of business is utility. If you want to, when you're trying to come up with a business idea, think in your head, is this something that someone would continuously need, or is this a one-time purchase? So like a product. If there aren't related products or accessories related to that product, then it's a one-time sale. A thing to keep in mind is if you're going to create a utility style business where it is something that someone needs, water, electricity, housing, real estate, people need that. They need, they have to have water. They have to have electricity.
Yeah.
We consider our services a utility. They have to have a digital landscape. They have a business. The utility for their business is having a proper website, is being visible. Those things are needed. So it kind of falls, it's service.
It's all part of a sales thing. Yeah.
It's under almost a utility category, where utility is something that someone needs. Like somebody needs the calendar on their phone. They need the weather on their phone. Those are utilities. It's very important to kind of think of, is this something that someone needs, or is it a desire, a want, a luxury? Always the needs come first. Those are always critical.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get into that one.
I mean, yeah, food. Yeah, that's like
sustenance.
Sustenance. Yeah, it's like a service and a product. I mean, there's like all these different businesses like revolve around that essential, that first 5 or 6 that we talked about. Food is product and it's service.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a blend of both. Yeah.
Yeah, you go in for the food, and then if you have amazing service, you're gonna keep going back. And I guess a point that is very good to understand when we're talking about this is that every type of business revolves around multiple of these businesses. You know what I mean? So like
some of them kind of overlap a little bit, but food is a requirement. People always need to eat. So regardless of the economic climate, people need to eat. End of story. So if you have a great recipe, you make a great pizza, you have great fried chicken, whatever it might be, people always need to eat. That's one thing to keep in mind.
100%. When I think about food, I think about restaurants. And to be honest, like the food is 50% of why people spend money on food at restaurants. The service is the other 50%.
Convenience.
Convenience, 100%. But also just like if I'm going into a nice restaurant, like I expect high quality service.
Oh yeah.
How many times have you gone
at the sushi place?
Dude, how many times have you gone to a place thinking I'm going to get that service rather than I'm gonna you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. They want to feel that, they want to feel special, like they want to be served.
Yeah, and so this brings me into the next. Now that we've kind of gone over all of the main the main categories of business, within your business, you may have a product business or a service business, but it's always good to combine 2 different types of businesses. So, for example, if you have a service business, or no, let's say this is a big one. So let's say you have an entertainment business, right? You're a streamer, you're an actor, you're this, you're that, whatever. You always want to keep, okay, for example, you're a streamer or a YouTuber or whatever. You're going to want to have merchandise. Mm-hmm. And that can be with anything. It could be, I'm trying to think of different businesses that combine both. Like it's good to combine both is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. It's good to have a service business, but also have products within that service. Yeah, it's good to have products, but then also have services.
So like a YouTuber has entertainment, but they also have a product because they have merch.
Yeah. So like a dealership is a product business. They sell a product. They sell a car, but it's I'd almost say it's
and they
a large they have service. It's a large percentage of their company.
The blended approach.
So you got it. Yeah. Having a blended approach. That's the word I was trying to think of. Having a blended approach of these business categories is very powerful for any type of business. Like I was trying to say before, it could be this type of business and you need a product. It could be a time type of business and you have a service. It could literally be anything. So blended business, that's I wouldn't say it's essential, but it's very important.
Yeah. It shouldn't be, your business should not be, one direction. It's always good to diversify, have a blended approach. That way you have different silos in your business that are bringing in revenue.
Different points of income.
Mm-hmm. So, we wanted to create this video just to make sure that when people are out there thinking, they know they want to work for themselves, they know they want to go into business, and they're kind of like trying to go through ideas and what's going to work for them, what's going to work out in the marketplace. Just look at it, break it down like this. We have products, we have services, time, information, facilitation, entertainment, financial, utility, and food. So those are, if you have any other ideas that we missed, just leave a comment, send us a DM.
If you have a question, DM us.
Yeah, just shoot us I tried to cover the basics that I know of in my head.
Yeah.
Just so to give people a little bit of guidance when they're trying to come up with an idea. They're like, oh, what should I do? So you look at these categories. You look at the product, services, time, information. So usually time is the first one that anyone gets involved with. They either get a job somewhere or they're doing work for themselves and they're charging by the hour. That's I want to say the most popular one.
And then they use their extra time to either create a service or a product. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the first 5, just so we can title this right, I think the first 5 are the most important because utility can essentially go under service or product.
Yeah, but utility. So for example, an oil company, people need oil to heat their house. They don't need to really advertise too much. It's a commodity that people need. It's utility.
So essentially, having this understanding of your business or the business that you're trying to grow is important to understand how you're going to grow it, how you're going to advertise it.
So if you have a business idea at home, shoot us a DM, leave a comment, and I can give you some honest feedback of the positives and negatives associated with that business idea. Yeah. And it'll be completely honest. It'll be non-biased. I can help you kind of shift things if you want to get into an industry that's saturated and you want to stand out and be different. We're here to help.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I don't know if is there anything else you want to build off of this? Is there anything else you want to point out?
Always weigh the positives and negatives. Be the devil's advocate. You might be super excited about your business idea, but always look at both sides of the coin, because you might be super excited about something, but you have to think about, okay, how am I going to go into this the smart way, the right way, and get the highest chance of success as possible? You don't want to just go in and start doing stupid shit and wasting money and making mistakes, because I've seen that happen.
Take your time to understand the business that you want to build. You have to know, in order to build a business, honestly, you should understand that you need to know the business inside and out. You need to have a complete understanding of that business in order to be able to, grow that business, in order to be able to be successful in that industry, in order to be able to, reach that goal of building this business and being successful. All right, I'm rambling. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Real Business Roundtable. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so that you get notified every time we post a new video. Also, check us out on Instagram and other social platforms where you can find more information about us, updates, clips, all that other good stuff.
And don't forget to try to reach out to us if you have any questions.
Yeah, I want people to reach out to us. I want to give more information than what's just on, what we just say on the podcast. You have a question about a business you want to start. You're thinking about starting a business. You want to know what industry to get into, how to make the most money, how to grow your business. Ask us. Send us DMs.
We have the experience. We have the knowledge. We have the know-how. We work with tons of industries, tons of businesses. We've seen people's successes. We've seen people's failures. And we as a company have over 16 years of experience that you can take advantage of to learn from. So throw your ideas by us, and let's share some information and see if we can help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Peace out.